Hello everyone. This video is on how to create an analysis service using SQL Server using Visual Studio 2017. So what I'm going to do is to use the AdventureWorks data warehouse. Let me just show you that I can that you can download the AdventureWorks 2016. I believe that's the latest version as of this video recording that you can set up to follow this tutorial if you like. So I downloaded this SQL Server 2016. Specifically, you want the AdventureWorks DW, which is the data warehouse that I'll be using in my in this session. And you can restore this database because it's a BAK file, backup file. So you should have AdventureWorks DW. Make sure this is not the same as AdventureWorks without the DW. This is their transactional database, and this is their data warehouse database. All right. Okay. In Visual Studio 2017, make sure you also install the data tools. So once you have done that, you can create a new project, analysis service, multidimensional data mining, business intelligence project. You can just name it anything you like. Demo 1. Hit OK. And I'm going to select my data source, right click on this data source, and using the wizard you can specify I'm going to create a new data source on my computer. In this case I'm using my login. My Visual Studio 2017 is installed in the same machine as my database server, and so this will allow my deployment a lot easier later on. So I've set up my connection to my database, which has my data warehouse database, and now I'm going to specify my data source, basically all the tables that I'll be needing. So from my data warehouse database, I'm going to select, in this case, I want to import my star schema tables. So the one that I'm really looking for is the fact internet sales. By the way, to create a cube, your SQL Server Analysis Service, you should have a database in the star schema. All right. So in this case, AdventureWorks has already the fact table and dimension tables. So once you have specified the fact table, you can add the related tables, all the different dimensions. All right. There's this fact internet sales reason that I don't really want. I can just remove it. All right. So the fact with all the dimensions. Finish up. And here's my data source. Data source and data source views. Okay, so I should be able to see this. Okay, there you go. All right, once I have my fact table and my dimensions, I can start creating a cube. Cube, again, is right-click New Cube. So I can specify that I'm going to be using my existing tables. I'm using the measures from the fact table. I'm using pretty much all the different measures in my fact table. And for my dimensions, everything except the fact table. And then I'm pretty much done. So there you go. All right. So once I have my cube created based on my star schema, I can run this to actually generate the cube structure for use by the analysis service. Deployment successful. And now I can actually do some analysis based on the different facts and different dimensions. So in my measures coming from my fact table, I have a number of things I can do analysis on. Let me start with the sales amount. So drag this into my panel over here. If I don't do anything, I can just see that the total sales amount is this value here. All right, not that interesting. So I'm going to analyze this by products. All right. The only key or attribute I have for the product is product key right now, so I can just drag it over here. So again, if I analyze this, I can see that product key and the sales amount for each of these product keys. All right, again, it's not that intuitive right now. And then I can see, for example, my sales territory. So again, in this case, sales territory key is the only attribute I have, so I can go from sales territory to each product and each sales amount. All right. All right, how do we make this a little bit more readable? So let's start with the sales territory dimension on the right side in your Solution Explorer. You can double click on it and you can see that sales territory key is pretty much the only attribute available for you to conduct your analysis. Well, I can actually add this sales territory region over here to my key attributes that I can use for analysis. So drag it into this first column. All right. So now I can actually use this to show what is in my the sales region. All right. So let me just show you in my SQL Server Management Studio in the sales territory. All right. So if I right click on this and select the top 1000 rows, you can see the sales territory region actually allows me to see some specific names of different regions rather than in numeric format. All right, once I have done that, I might want to save this, and then let's go back to my the cube structure generation to start generating a new set of attributes for my different dimensions. And let me refresh it. And so I can see that, well, one more time, my sales information. Let me drag the sales information here. Let me do the same thing for the products. Right. So far, it's just product key, and then the sales territory. Now we can see the sales territory region. So let me drag it over here. So I'm analyzing sales region based on different products and sales amount. All right, a little bit more intuitive. So let's do one more thing for the product key. Now the product key, I don't have the product names attached to it, but that's okay. What I can do is go to my data source views. So instead of just the product here, I noticed there's a subcategory, but it's also key. So what I need to do is to add a new table, which is my product subcategory. Add this to my view. All right. And so now you can see that there is a hierarchy based on the measures in the fact table to the first dimension product, and then also in the subcategory with all the different names for different products. All right. So one more time, save it, and then let's go to my product dimension. So right now I need to attach this product subcategory to my product. So let me show all the related tables. Show tables, subcategory. All right, so there you go. So now I have the relationship between the product and this subcategory. Let me drag the English name. English name of subcategory names of the different products. All right. And one more time, going back to my cube. Oh, not this one, over here. Rerun. And then let me just refresh. Okay, one more time. Internet sales for the sales amount. And then product. Now I can have the English product name now. And then sales territory. I have the English name for the territory region. So there you go, a lot more readable. I can filter this one by going to a dimension, by looking at the sales territory, for example, such that, for example, the region is going to be equal to not every possible value, but maybe just Canada. All right, so one more time. So there it is. I can also browse this through an Excel spreadsheet, so I can launch the Excel spreadsheet over here. I want to enable access from the Excel spreadsheet to the data. So the pivot table is already set up over here. So let me just show you that I want to look at the sales amount. That's what I want to show. So if you recognize this number, it's basically what we showed you earlier. Initially, that's the total amount of different sales. But now I want to also show the territory. So the territory region in different rows, right? So you can see different regions. And I might want to show my product subcategory. I can put it into different columns over here. Right? So these numbers are basically the same as the other numbers, but I can also show it as rows like this. All right. So in this case, I might want to just look at Canada. So instead of selecting all, let me just show Canada. So if you compare these values and the values that you see over here, let me just put this side by side. You can see these values are pretty much the same. All right. So you can browse the cube using the browser in your SSAS, or you can browse it through your Excel spreadsheet. All right. Hope this is sufficient for you to start playing around with the SQL Server Analysis Service. It's quite easy to use, and I hope you enjoy this video.